So, looking at your company and stuff like that. So it looks like you kind of are for like you guys do service sales, marketing, everything like that. For a lot of like Fortune 500 companies. You guys kind of I see like the term like holistic approach all over your guys' like website, your pages, and stuff like that. So you guys kind of take a real look at the organization and the skill sets of what it is your companies are looking for you to help them out with. So
Yeah,
it kind of looks
pretty
like,
much. Yeah.
so now do you guys, are you involved in any of the travel industry side of it, or how does that fit into your guys' niche?
Yeah, so we have a service in our company. It's like executive concierge services. So
Okay.
we help big corporations book travel and corporate events when they're coming in from other countries. So for example, like if they're coming, I had a client last year coming in from Azerbaijan and they wanted us to help them with like their hotel bookings, getting
Yeah.
their people kind of placed in Houston. We strategized on how to do their team building events and also their client corporate party, helping their clients book travel as well, travel arrangements. So we do that as a service just because we're kind of like a full service boutique marketing agency, if that makes
Yeah,
sense. So
that's
we
what I'm
kind of
looking
do
at.
like, yeah, so like,
Yeah.
because it's kind of like we have something called our 360K convergence model, which, for example, we go in, we talk with the customer, and we give them like a full proposal, right? Because they'll say like, oh, we have, this trade show coming up, and we're gonna have 50 people coming in from all over the world, right?
Yeah.
Executives, maybe like sales, maybe operations. And so then they want to market their brand around the show. So we'll do like a pre-show marketing strategy and then a post-show marketing strategy. But within that, there's a lot of logistics like
Yeah.
hotel accommodations, travel for their team, how they're going to be, kind of promoting at the show, booth
Yep.
design. So we do pretty much the whole nine.
Yeah, so that's what I was kind of looking at is like you guys seem to have like a very like multi-niche. Um, so what I'd like to be able to do before so I know both of our AIs are already recording and this podcast will be posted. So what I'm looking to do is, do you mind if we kind of shift to the questions being more geared towards your company and that multi-niche approach? Is that
Sure,
okay?
sure. Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah. That's
because
totally fine.
yeah, because mine was this was kind of dealing with like smart travel concierge, like professionals, and like dealing with that like last minute like changes. Like that's one of the biggest things that we always tend to get as like concierge clients is
Hmm.
that last minute like chaos. Somebody missed their flight. Somebody ended up missing where they were supposed to. Didn't get on where they and how you guys kind of like shift from that. But one of the other big one of my other podcast topics is competing with the giants in the travel industry. So I'd like to kind of be able to just easy flow into a multi niche approach. If you're okay with that, because you
Yeah,
kind of
yeah, that would
seem
be
to
great.
because what this is geared for is entrepreneurs that are looking to kind of just start in how they kind of we fell into like the love of starting up our businesses because right now I'm at 5 companies that I maintain, operate everything on top of still being full time. So
Yeah, that's a
one of the
lot.
things it is, but what I'm noticing is especially for service members that are kind of getting out that are always looking to start their own companies um, is when we started our first company was that like, hey, I wish I had the knowledge now that I when I was first starting out. One of my biggest like hiccups was I started a company in New York, and I will never ever start another company under like a New York state title. All my other
Mhm.
companies have now been under Delaware or Wyoming because of the anonymity and stuff that they create and stuff. So it's just that's what I'm really looking to try to do is kind of see. You seem to have that same approach where you're like have multi entrepreneurship and just gotten your company from where it was to how it is now. If that's how we could take that approach.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll give you an example too. Like I had a client this year, actually, it was the Louisiana Economic Development Organization. They had a bunch of people coming in from Louisiana um, for Houston Energy and Climate Week.
Oh
And
wow.
you would think that because we're very close to each other, Texas borders Louisiana, you would think that that they would know Houston, but they don't, right? So I had this call last minute from a client. She's like, "Oh my gosh, we have 30 more people that signed up for this under our wing, but the hotel is booked. What do we do?" And so because I know Houston well and I have the relationships with the hotel and I have relationships with Airbnbs here. I actually own a few properties where we host corporate housing. We were able to accommodate those last minute executives that were coming in.
Yeah.
And it actually ended up being great because Houston was like packed that week because of Houston Energy and Climate Week. It was just like we had so many people from other states coming in and around the city coming in to stay for the panel. So it's kind of like Offshore Technology Week, which is another conference that's just packed,
Yeah.
oil and gas packed. So yeah, so things like that we just are able to accommodate our clients, and we're able to either find housing for them or last minute corporate event spaces, or even helping them book last minute flights, um, and things like that.
So out of curiosity, so one of the things that I do on the outside is I'm actually world ranked for throwing axes and knives. We've actually been
Oh,
looking. So I don't know if you've ever seen it on like ESPN also
yeah,
and stuff. Yeah.
yeah.
Hey, hi. Ranked 33 in the world. And stuff
Really? Oh
for
my
throwing.
gosh, how
Yeah.
fun. Yeah.
So our uh last year, 2024 was in Wisconsin, Appleton, Wisconsin. This year, which is now coming 2025, but hosted April 2026, is going to be back in Kansas at an event space that we really don't like. It's in a hockey arena.
Hmm.
We've been looking at Houston, Texas as a next place to be hosting Worlds. How do you tend to find Houston to be able to navigate, I guess, that many people? I mean, we're talking anywhere between, you know, I would say 15,000 some odd people at once to an event.
Hmm. Yeah,
How
we
does
have the
Houston?
space.
Yeah.
Well, and we're gearing up for the World Cup as well, which will be in
Yep.
June, and we're one of the host cities. So
Yes.
Houston is gearing up to really cater to hundreds of thousands. I mean, we're probably going to have about more than, you know, they're saying that it's going to be about 1.5 million attendees, right? So we have to gear up the city.
Yeah.
And there's amazing venues that can host that many people, like the NRG Stadium. We have the Astro Stadium. We've got the Greyhound Park. We've got baseball stadiums that are like massive. We've got energy centers that host concerts, and a lot of different places that you could potentially host this. Obviously, you would need space, right? Because it's almost like you're playing a football game, but you're not. You're just you would need
Yeah.
a lot of space to throw, right? To throw
It
the
has to
axe.
be indoors with a lot of like space. So we ended up doing it in um, February of this year, which was 2024's World Champions. It was hosted at the Paper Mill in Appleton, Wisconsin.
Hmm.
Or not Paper Mill, Paper Valley, excuse me. It is a Hilton like convention center. And that actually worked out really well, except for a lot of the bottlenecking of flights and trying to get
Hmm.
up to Appleton, Wisconsin, because a lot of people were flying in through different places. I mean, they're coming from Finland, Denmark, like all over the place. We even had
Hmm.
competitors from Japan. So that,
Wow. Oh my gosh. Well, we have the space here in Houston for sure. I mean, we host, I mean, even like at the Georgia R. Brown Convention Center, they host about 180 to 220 conferences a year. I mean, it's crazy what
yeah,
they do. But yeah, I mean, if you need help with anything, let me know because I have,
yeah,
you
no,
know, the
100%. I'm definitely
relationships
gonna
and things like that. But yeah, yeah, we do.
pass
We
some
are
of your
gearing up
information.
also for the World Cup. Um, you know, right now we're talking to FIFA.
Yep.
Obviously, we're going to be working under other partner agencies because we're still a little, not that we're small, but I would say we're just working with other partner agencies to also be able to provide some because this is going to be a massive event, right? It's kind of like what you're saying, 15,000 people, you know,
Yeah.
and things like that. So yeah, we'd be happy to assist.
Awesome. So I'd like to dive right in and kind of just like ask a little, I guess, more questions and stuff about you and your company. Um, One of the biggest being like, what stemmed, like, how did you get into like this type of a niche or multi niche
Yeah.
of a concierge company, kind of like you're absorbing all of the needs and the wants and everything of any type of company coming in. So where did that all stem from? What's your background?
So I actually went to school for graphic design. I went to the Art Institute of Houston.
Awesome.
When I was, you know, when I got out of high school, I really loved graphics. I've always been kind of an artsy person, always loved theater, arts, things like that. But I wanted to do something kind of like very, not technically paint or anything, but I loved looking at graphics and logos. And so I went to school for graphic design. And I loved it. But when I got out of college, I couldn't find a job. It was so hard to find a job in graphic design. So I was working for like this magazine and I really didn't like it because I was so bored. And I'm a social person, so I love to talk to people. And
Yep.
at the time, one of my mentors was like, you know, you should really get into sales because you like people and you're really good at the customer service. And when I was in college, I worked at restaurants, so I learned hospitality, right? So with design experience and then hospitality and things like that, I was like, oh, you know, maybe sales or marketing would be good for me, right? Did I
Yeah.
pick the wrong degree at the time? I'm like, I don't know. Well, I started working at a couple of trade shows through a modeling agency. They were like, oh, we need some booth babes, you know, and I was like, okay. So I was working at the Offshore Technology Conference, which is the biggest offshore conference in the world, and it's held in Houston every year in May. And so it was like my first time there. And out of that job that I had, I got recruited to go into sales. So I got into like kind of like the corporate industry of oil and gas. So I
Okay.
started with gas compressor sales. Um, then I went into logistics management, and then I stayed in international logistics for about 15 years. And I loved it. And I worked for big brands like DHL and, you know, big, big companies like that.
Yeah.
And then 2 years ago, I really had like kind of like I was really wanting to go back into design and I wanted to go back into like just marketing and working with clients to make their brands better and to, you know, to be like kind of like a concierge for them.
Yeah.
So, I took my leap of faith and I was like, you know, I'm going to start my own company because I know so many people now that I've built my relationships the last 15 years. And so I started my agency and that's how it happened.
That's awesome. That's
Mhm.
so now how many companies or LLCs do you currently own and operate?
So right now it's one. Everything is under Kattya and Co.
Yep.
And we are fixing to trademark one of our services. So we do a lot of trade shows
Yeah.
worldwide. We're doing one in Dubai in February. So we are about to start another LLC for that. And yeah, so right now it's just one though.
Okay, I was gonna say, 'cause, that looked like now the one in Dubai. Is that what you had? Did you had post something about that
A while
on
back, yes. Yeah, so
LinkedIn or?
every year my sister and I we get asked to do a wellness workshop
Yeah.
for women at a conference called Breakbulk Americas, which is the largest conference for project shipping. So there's regular shipping and then there's project shipping. Project shipping is when you're shipping really big stuff.
Yeah.
So they ask us to host, kind of like to plan the whole theme around women in break bulk. So it's like we plan, like, you know, travel for the women. We help them, to kind of do an itinerary for what they're going to do throughout that whole week. Like, is
Yeah.
it yoga? Is it like beauty stuff? Is it, so we kind of do that experiential marketing stuff around the show.
That's okay. That's phenomenal.
Hmm.
So, going into kind of dealing with like clients, when you were kind of first starting out, what were some of the biggest kind of like hiccups that you kind of noticed within starting as a entrepreneur, new LLC and stuff like that? I mean, it seems like you had a lot of like corporate background to kind of really help push you along with the creation of the LLC. But what were some of the struggles that you kind of ran into when you first
Hmm.
started out?
So I think it was just really, so I kind of, when I left my last job, I literally didn't really have a plan. I was like, I'm just going to do it. So it was just really like getting that first client.
Yeah,
And within the first month that I announced that I was going solo, I had like three ex-clients when I was in logistics reach out to me, and they were like, "Oh my gosh, I just started my own business and I need your help. Like, I need marketing, I need you to plan my event, I need you to plan my trade show, blah blah blah." So that was kind of like, at first, the hiccup is just getting clients.
yeah,
And then also, I think just, having consistent cash flow. I think that's like everybody's biggest problem, because
always, yeah.
you're just like, well, how am I going to get clients? Right. So that was kind of like a hiccup. So I would say is getting clients and understanding like what my cash flow is going to be.
So now moving, let's go forward, say a year into it. When you started kind of getting that client flow, you were starting to kind of build your own lead generation, starting to get like that word of mouth and stuff out. What were you starting to notice as far as like, hey, this is the niche or what it is that I'm offering, and how you're starting to grow? Because like, look again, looking at your company, you are a very multi niche type of a company. It's a phenomenal, like, looking at what it is, how you your core services, your marketing, your branding, your corporate events, how you deal with like purpose driven philosophy, employee empowerment. So like going down the list and stuff, and kind of seeing it, and I love how you guys always you say, that holistic approach. So being able to take what it is, the needs of anything and everything, and you'll be able to find that solution. um what were some of the keys to unlocking multiple like steps within your company?
Ooh, that's a good question. So I think, um, okay, because people would start. So let's say this is how it kind of grew into different sectors. So, you know how, like, when you're doing something really good for a client and they're like, "Oh my gosh, thank you for doing this. What else do you do?"
Yeah.
That was like always the question I would get. What else
What
do you
else
do?
do you need?
And I'm like, "Well, what else do you need?" And they're like, "Well, we need, like, for example, I was doing marketing for a company. They needed like a new brand kit, right? So I did their logo brand kit.
Yeah.
And then they're like, "Oh my gosh, we're having this corporate event in 3 months, and we don't know what to do. We don't know how to do anything. We're just like, we don't even know what venue to use. We don't know what we're gonna do. We don't we like I was like, okay, so I was like, yeah, we can do events too. Cause that's what I always used to do at these companies. Like, I was sales, but they would always be like, "Can you help us with the corporate event? Can you do?" So I was like, I can do that in my sleep, right? So then I would be
Yeah.
like, yeah, let's do your corporate event. Okay. Well, then I'm like, why are you doing this corporate event during this time? They're like, well, because we have a trade show. Okay. and they're like, can you design our booth? I'm like, yeah, sure. So that's kind of how it all came together. Because they trust me, right? So they're like, we
Yeah.
trust you to do this, so we want you to do more. And so I think when it comes to business, you do business with people that you like, right? And
Yeah.
so and that you trust. And so I think that's kind of like our model, that people trust us to do not everything, but the things that they feel we would be good at when it comes to marketing, corporate events, trade shows, executive concierge services, all that.
Yeah. And that's it's kind of funny because sometimes those what do you want to call it? Key players that when we first kind of meet other companies start kind of getting that level of like I guess integration between company to company is where you kind of fall into I guess other sub niches because again like how you said you're like well what is it you need? Oh, you know what? I tell you what I have experience in that. I got you. And it kind of starts to unfold and you start finding more and more people that need that same thing and it kind of falls into like a pattern where like you know well I know somebody else that you know they're going to do a trade show next but he has no idea what he's doing so then that
Yeah.
kind of word of mouth that's phenomenal so then going from expanding what would you say is your guys's core niche? Like, what is it that you focus on the most? Is it the marketing? Is it your guys's the planning, the events, or are you guys going to end up breaking that up into like subsections? Like, how does your team like? How did you end up
Yeah.
building and kind of like divide and conquer in that?
Yeah, so that's a really great observation on like the different, the different sectors that we have. So we're actually about to dissolve fractional sales because we find that it's like a whole another animal to maintain that, and it takes a lot of
Energy, right?
resources, right? A lot
Yeah,
of hiring because I can't do it all, right? I started off my company kind of helping some clients with that, but I was like, no, this is too
yeah,
much. So I stopped doing it. So we're actually going to dissolve that service and we're not going to offer that anymore by 2026. We're just going to dissolve it. And we're really just going to concentrate on really corporate events, right?
yeah.
Within the corporate events umbrella, we have the executive concierge services. So, for
Correct.
example, if we're doing a corporate event, people want bus travel, they want hotels, they
Yep.
want, because a lot of these corporate events, for example, I just did a summit last week in the Woodlands and I literally had to stay in the Woodlands because the Woodlands is like an hour away from Houston, but it's still Houston, but it's an hour away, if that makes
Yeah.
sense. But the traffic in Houston is quite bad, so I was like, I have to stay at I have to stay near the conference where the summit is going to be because it's like a
Yep.
summit technically. It's still considered a corporate event, but it's a summit, right? So my team and I had to stay close to the hotel because the summit started every day at 7 a.m. So we had to be there like at 6 to
So,
make sure
yeah.
everything was good, everything was set up right. Um, and so the client asked us to book their employees' hotels as well, right? Because we're also IATA certified, which means that
Okay.
we can like get special discounts and we get commissions from
Correct.
hotels, right?
Yep.
And so we were able to um to book everybody's hotel rooms, which was like over 800 people. And then we were able to also do the whole summit from A to Z, all the logistics, the catering, the games, all that, right? Um, and so we really said we really want to focus on the corporate event side of things, right? And then we still want to do the trade shows because the
Yeah.
trade shows, it's not technically a corporate event, but it's like you're planning a corporate event. It's just more about design and
The,
strategy around the
yeah.
show.
Yeah.
So you still need a lot of marketing, right? So with that, the clients always say, well, we need a new website because our website sucks. Or we need a new like logo lift because we changed the colors of our logo, right?
Yep.
So we partnered up last year with a marketing agency called Centric, and they're based out of Dubai. So they're our partner agency for marketing. We do some marketing, but
Yeah,
like if
yeah,
it's for the client around the shows and the corporate events, like banners, graphics, backdrops, step and repeats, you know, 10 by 10 booths, 20 by 20 booths, all that we have an in-house designing team. But when it comes to like search engine optimization,
yep,
digital marketing strategy campaigns, email campaigns, we have a partner agency that does that for us. So we partnered up with
yeah.
them and we feed off of each other. They give us clients and then we give them clients. So it's a perfect partnership.
There you go.
Um, and so we really just want to focus on the corporate events, the trade shows, and the marketing and dissolve everything else.
Correct. Yeah.
Hmm.
So that would give you guys more of that, I guess, the time and energy to be more like niche specific to, uh, I guess, are you also going to be looking at going after other, I guess, not corporation events, but I guess like landing contracts and stuff
Hmm.
for larger agencies and stuff like that. So where you can build or do like multi-agency events.
Yeah. Yeah.
That
So
seems
right
that seems
now,
like
yeah, that's a good question too. We're partnering up with a lot of shows. Like, okay, so for example, next year there's going to be around like about three big shows that we really are partnering up with.
yeah,
One is the Inner Solar Conference that's in Las Vegas every year. They do a lot of renewable energy strategies and talks about renewable solar things like that. So we're partnering up with them to help their clients with booth design and trade shows. The
nice.
other one is it's the EPC show in Houston, Texas. So that's a big show for anyone that's in the EPC business. So it's engineering, procurement, and construction.
Okay, I was gonna say I'm not familiar with what
Yeah.
EPC. Okay, yeah,
But they
got
all
it.
need travel because they're all coming in from Spain, Mexico, Japan, Europe,
Yeah,
Australia. So they're all coming for the show. So they're all going to be like needing to travel for the show because a lot of the decision making is in Houston for EPC construction conference. So we're going to be partnering up with them to do, to help them with like their clients' booths and design and things like that. And then the Offshore Technology Conference, which is the biggest oil and gas conference in the world, we're going to partner up with them. I would say that our specific client, like target audience, is
yeah,
oil and gas, energy, renewables, logistics. That's kind of I would say the energy industry, the supply chain industry, that's our target niche, right?
yeah.
um but we do a lot of other, like we're not gonna say no to a potential customer. Like for example, we've had clients that own
Oh yeah,
turf,
yeah,
landscaping. We've had landscaping clients. We've had clients that own like a company called Disability Benefits of America. They're one of our clients. They work a lot with the government to help people with disabilities to get benefits
yeah,
from the government. We've helped um, medical offices, like small dentist offices, veterinarians. So we have diversified a little bit in that space.
yeah.
Um, but I would say our target audience is, oil and gas.
Yeah, well, so that was going to be because one of my questions was, what do you guys do to kind of compete or get integrated into like the giants of the industries? And it kind of seems like you kind of really um, use like the trade shows and stuff like that to kind of like integrate yourself into with already the giants of the industry. So that kind of already helps bring your business and stuff to light because if you're already helping them, word of mouth is key.
Hmm.
Because
Yeah. Yeah. So I do about 3 to 4 sponsorships a year, um,
yeah,
in different supply chain and oil and gas like events. So for example, I'm also part of the Society for Low Carbon Technologies here in Houston. So
okay,
it's an organization that I am an advisory board member of and also co-founder, but it's a nonprofit. So we help to educate big companies on low carbon initiatives like
right,
solar, geothermal, um, hydrogen. I might be throwing a lot of weird terms out there, but
Yeah,
those
no,
are
no.
like the new oil and gas terms, like pink
Yep.
hydrogen, blue hydrogen, green hydrogen, renewables, battery storage. You're hearing all these terms, right?
Yeah.
So I bring in my expertise to these events. So I will sponsor like a breakfast, for example, and then people will say, "Oh, who sponsored the breakfast?" "Oh, Kattya and Co." "Oh, what does Kattya and Co do?" And then they'll say, "Oh, Kattya and Co is your, partner for corporate events, marketing strategies, trade shows." And then people are like,
Yeah.
"Oh, I need that. Oh my God, my company's doing a trade." So that's where I get a lot of business, right?
Yeah. That's
Um,
awesome.
it's very holistic, right? It's not like I'm paying ads on Google and like, oh, like blasting event services. No, I'm actually like
Yeah.
going in there and like when I talk about holistic, it's like really building relationships, like a very hands-on approach.
Yeah.
Um,
It's like a PR
and
event,
yeah, like a PR event. Exactly. There you go.
which
Or like,
actually, if you go under the tax code, 100% of that is tax deduction, because anything that is dealt with as a PR event is 100% tax deduction.
you're right. Exactly. Yep. And I did not even know that. I didn't know that. Yeah. So
Yeah.
thank you for letting me know that. I mean, you're right. There's so many things that I'm like, I didn't know we could write that off, but um and I'm not a finance person by all means, but yeah, so that's one that we do. Then like for example, the other day we sponsored a backdrop for a client that he had this corporate event, but his organizer wasn't like wow. So I was like, Tim, we need to make this event look amazing for your client. So why don't let me create a beautiful backdrop for you? And he was like, okay. So I created this amazing backdrop and everybody was taking pictures and they were all like, who made this? Who made this? It had flowers, it had like, his logo in the back. I
Yeah.
put like Kattya and Co on the little pillows of the couch. So it looked really cool, or for example, we'll donate sometimes wine at these events. Like we'll say,
Oh,
okay,
there you
Kattya and Co
go.
sponsored, this really good wine. And people were like, ooh, this is good wine. Who sponsored the wine? Oh, Kattya and Co. Oh, what does Kattya and Co do? So
Yeah.
things like that we do. Yeah, to make our brand known. And then, you know, we do a lot of LinkedIn marketing. I think that's how you found me, right? On LinkedIn.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so my biggest following is on LinkedIn. I've got 11,000 followers on LinkedIn. I know other people have more, but I've built this network over 15 years and maybe 10 plus, but I've consistently met people and always networked with them and try to help them wherever I can. And my goal is to really make their company shine, whether it's internally by helping their employees,
Yeah.
or externally by marketing their company. So it just depends on what the client is looking for. We can always work around that.
So now I'm only asking because you are in Texas. Are you getting into the whole text coin thing that's kind of been like going on, or no?
Oh, the what? The text coin?
Yes.
Oh my God, I've
Yeah.
never heard
So
of that. What is that?
really?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is kind of like where I nerd out a little bit, so I apologize. The Yoko, the one who created Bitcoin, his closest friend back 15 however many years ago when he actually created the Bitcoin was actually a good friend of his who owns or did own three actual minting, like coin minting corporations. He just dissolved a lot of that and is now actually following in the footsteps of Yoko Ono to actually create what is now known as the text coin. And
Oh, wow.
if you have ever missed the jump or the wave of Bitcoin, text coin is now one of the biggest, most lucrative Bitcoin type style out there. 100% based out of Texas, used to in trade shows and everything to buy, pay, sell, and do everything within the state of Texas itself. And it is going from, I've already watched it go from under $2 to market well over 7, and it is on the track to hit well over 16. And it is becoming one of the largest cryptocurrency things because he is following the exact same strategies of his old friend. So
I did not know that. Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, no, honestly, when I heard the term Bitcoin, it was very foreign to me, so I just didn't
same.
really understand it, you know?
Yep.
And
I still
I don't
struggle with
know.
it. I'll be honest.
I still struggle with all that because you hear these companies opening, closing, opening, they disappear from out of nowhere, and I
Yeah.
was just really always conscious about that. And if I don't know enough about something, I'm like not even gonna touch it because I'm like, but I
Yeah.
will look into that. I don't know anything about TextCoin, but I will, now that you've told me, I'll definitely look into
Yeah.
it.
It has its own like trade and operation. It has its own blockchain and everything, just like
Hmm.
Bitcoin and stuff.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's the Texit coin and stuff where you can actually build miners, and it has that sub, I guess, like strategy, almost like, if you want to call it, almost like a pyramid type thing
Hmm.
where you can have other people build underneath you and it helps you build. So it's definitely weird. But that's why I was curious within the trade show, because that was one of the biggest things that they just hosted in Texas and stuff too.
Oh,
Was
really? Oh, I didn't even hear about it. I did not hear about that, Stephen. I'll
Yeah,
have
I
to look
just
into
had,
that. Yeah. Because I mean, there's so many trade shows that happen in Houston, like the quilt show and
oh my gosh, I
the
know.
reptile show and like, the gun show. And I'm like, oh my
Yep.
goodness. Like, first of all, I don't even eat animals. I don't eat meat. I'm a vegetarian. So can you imagine? I'm like, I'm not going to the reptile show. If somebody asked me to do a booth for them, I'd be like, heck no. And
You know
then
what? I
I've,
saw that on
yeah,
your posting that you
yeah.
are animal activist and stuff like that too, correct?
Yeah, I love animals and I don't have any kids of my own, but I love dogs. I have, two dogs and I do a lot of work for PETA
Yeah,
part-time.
that's what it was that I
Yeah,
saw on
I
there.
don't I don't advertise that a lot, but like
Yeah,
on my Instagram I do, but on my LinkedIn I'm like, because people can be like, oh, she's a big, whatever. But I love animals and I love, anything that's sustainable energy. I mean, we even have a big corporate initiative at Kattya Co where when we do our logistics, we use electric vehicles for all of our logistics.
nice.
We try to recycle like everything that we use, we recycle and we reuse it again in the event space so that it doesn't go
Yeah,
to waste. We try to serve more holistic meals like vegetarian foods and better drinks. Yes, if people want to drink, that's great, but like let's serve better alcohol so they're not like
right.
drinking toxic foods, right? So yeah,
Yeah.
so we try to really work on that.
So where do you I guess this kind of opens Pandora's box a little bit. But like I don't know how familiar you are with like Sandal Resorts, and how eco energy efficient, and stuff they are. So in previous podcasts, I've actually learned a little more about the green energy travel trend. And
Oh,
Sandal,
yeah.
I guess Sandal Resorts has now started becoming self a self ecosystem. They are doing their own planting and everything. So all of the food and everything that you eat at Sandal Resorts is grown, maintained, or done on the resort. So
I did not know that. That's amazing. And I think
they,
every hotel should do that because if you think about it, like, look, I know people have to eat, right? But if
right,
you at least procure sustainably and local, the
local, yes,
animals wouldn't have to suffer so much. You would get better quality fruits, better quality vegetables.
correct,
The travel just from, you know, like shipping fruits and vegetables from other countries, I mean, that throws a lot of emissions into the planet, a lot of carbon emissions into the planet. So if people could just learn how to do their own things,
yeah,
even
yeah.
resorts, if they could
But it
learn how to do their own things, the world would be a much better place and we would reduce our carbon footprint by a lot.
drastic, yeah. And that's the thing is, it
Yeah.
seems so simplistic, but yet it seems to also be such a, like, I guess a pain to even get other people to have that recognition,
Yeah.
you know. And that's the thing is, I mean, I know they finally New York was actually a rain collection banned state where you weren't allowed to collect rainwater.
Oh,
And it was
wow.
like, well, why? Like one, what's stopping me? Two,
Right.
why would you put, and instead of me pulling from, some other, man-made, we have all of these different, what do you want to call them? Not even springs, but like the water treatment centers and all this other stuff. Why can't I just collect rain in a barrel, to go have my garden
Yeah,
and be able to
exactly.
self-sustain? And they're even putting restrictions on how large of a garden you can even have. And that's what we were starting to really notice is with like a lot of the farmers and stuff within New York
Oh,
were
yeah.
getting
Oh, yeah.
pushed out.
I totally
So
agree. Yeah, and it's crazy because like I think a lot of more hotels, even the airlines, for example, like, United has gone, they've had a lot of green initiatives, like more vegan
yep,
foods on their planes, eco-friendly, like, like silverware, for example.
correct, yeah,
I've seen like they have started to people can buy carbon credits, right? I've seen that. So yeah,
oh,
there's a
for the
lot of
flights, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
on the flights you can buy like carbon credits. So yeah, there's a lot of different things going on in the travel industry too, and the hotels, and I've seen a lot of, also like I just did an event in Las Vegas at the Venetian, and that was really fun. And the lady had like all this, you know they had like sustainable napkins, like recycled napkins that looked beautiful. They had like this beautiful print, but they were recyclable.
yeah,
They were recycled. They had like recyclable cups. They had vegan, a lot of vegan options like Impossible Meat. So yeah, just a lot of, you're seeing a lot of these hotels going green. Bamboo, instead of using
yeah. That's a
leather, they're
huge.
using like bamboo products. So yeah, definitely a big push in that.
Now, is your company? So I know one of the biggest things is also that's coming into play is a lot of the hydrogen battery. Trying to
Hmm.
replace the lithium.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
now is that something that your company is also looking to try to kind of get, I guess, awareness and stuff out there for?
So our company, we try to procure, like, when we handle logistics, we try to
Yeah.
go with electric cars, like, or
Yep.
electric trucks, or any kind of electric transport. Not always, because that's not always doable, but that's one thing we do take pride in, is we try to transport things through on electric vehicles. Now, when it comes to um, advocating for hydrogen technologies, and instead of lithium, right?
Yeah.
Um, that goes with the Society of Low Carbon Technologies, where I'm an advisory board member and a co-founder in. So we educate um, industries on the new hydrogen,
Yeah.
initiatives, right? Like what's going on in hydrogen, like what's better? Is it hydrogen? There's so many different kinds of technologies, like, sorry, energies out there, new energies. Like
Yeah.
there's pink hydrogen, blue hydrogen, there's algae, they're
Yep.
finding energy in algae. There's just so many, corn, for example, that's been around for a while, getting,
Yeah.
you know, corn fuel. Um, so yeah, so different things. So Kattya and Co does not really educate clients on that, or do we talk about that? But when it comes to the Society of Low Carbon Technologies, yes, we do talk about that.
Yeah. Well, I
Hmm.
was meaning like, trying to seek out other companies that are looking to broadcast their findings and whatever to help them
Hmm.
kind of build that larger footprint. Because I know,
Yes.
was it Japan?
Yes.
Japan or something like that just created an aircraft based off of dark matter energy, and they
Oh,
finally got
what?
they just got it to lift off. Now they're trying to figure out how stable can they make it, and not only stability, but how much dark energy and stuff is going, or matter, excuse me, dark matter, is going to be required to actually lift weight and everything like that. So that way, it again reducing that carbon footprint. It was something that I was researching, or it came up somehow on one of my feeds and
Oh,
stuff
that's
like.
cool. Oh my goodness, that's really cool. So, well, let me tell you this. I just did a corporate event in August for a big company called TerraFlow Energy. They're building one of the biggest data centers in Belleville, Texas, right?
Really?
It's going to be huge. Well, their technology, a lot of these data centers, they're being frowned upon because they're using a lot of lithium.
Yeah.
Well, this data center is not. They're using hydrogen technology to power their data centers instead of lithium.
Nice.
So I did their corporate event. It was a huge event. It was a big success. It was probably one of the best events that I ever did in my career. Really. It was very good. It was a we did like a huge presentation. I had to design the event. Like how was it going to look? Like even from the feeling of like when people were going to come in, what are they going to see? What are they going to feel? What are you going to
Creating the
smell?
atmosphere, everything. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, so it was really nice. And I have some pictures of it and on my LinkedIn I can share with you if you want. But we created like this. They wanted to do a panel on like what they're doing and talk about what they're doing with the world, right? So that we had
Yeah.
AV production and we had a DJ, for example. We had these really cool lights and we created like a really cool atmosphere. So yeah, that ended up being a really good event. And they were talking about their new hydrogen technology. So we
Yeah.
do help clients talk about it. We design how they're going to talk about it. We just don't talk about it. We just
Talk
let
about it.
it.
Yeah.
We're like the backstage production company that's going to help our clients talk about it to the world. Yeah.
That's awesome. But that's awesome that you guys are also very like eco-conscious and stuff as well, because that makes you such a good fit for those
Yeah.
companies.
Yeah.
So that's,
Like
and it kind of ties that same goal together.
I always try to find a way. Okay, like for example, every plant that we use, every flower that we use, every vase that we use, we recycle it. The flowers that we use, we typically try to mix our floral design when it comes to corporate events with regular flowers and real flowers, like fake flowers and real, so that the
Yeah.
client can use the fake flowers in their office. And we even let the clients like we'll make signage. So instead of making like a full paper or plastic backdrop, what we'll do sometimes is we'll create like a green backdrop, just plain green, and then we'll add light, like a customer light. Almost like a neon sign, and then they can
Oh
keep it in
yeah,
their
yeah.
office.
Yep.
And then we reuse that green sign again so that we don't
Yeah,
have to
yeah.
throw away that paper,
Yeah.
or that
They're
cloth.
almost like the backdrop, like slipcover type things where you can
Yeah,
change colors and everything else like that to.
exactly. Yeah, and I can show you pictures if you want, but
Yeah, and
we
I'm
try to
on
do
your
that.
actual on your page and stuff now. I was looking at a
Yeah.
lot of the different stuff that you guys were doing
Yeah, it's
and
very
stuff. So
recyclable. And my website is not updated, by the way. We're gonna get a new website in February. So, that's kind of like when I started. But we do have, you know, initiatives like we'll procure real plants and then we'll let the client keep the plants for their office. We're like, keep this in your office because plants create oxygen, or
oh yeah,
we really try to recycle as much as we can because events is one of the most wasteful space. It's a wasteful space. And so we really try to encourage our clients to reuse and recycle, reuse, recycle. Let's use this for your next event. We're just going to decorate it differently. Let's
yeah,
try to procure this next year. And yeah, we really try to be sustainable.
that's phenomenal.
Hmm.
So one of the things I want to be able to kind of I guess like divvy into is within your company, like if you were to look 5, 10 years down the road, right? How can you take where you are now? Is there a bigger dream for your company? I know you said you're kind of dissolving one and you're going to be opening another LLC. So how to kind of walk me through like what's your dream for you, your company? What's that look like?
That's a really good question. Stephen, you're full of good questions. So I've always wanted to franchise my business,
Yeah,
um, create a model where um, especially we have a service called Trade Show Booster service, right? Trade Show Booster. So we want to make that like a franchise business where like let's say part-time workers like teachers or maybe like nurses or people that want a side hustle, they can help
yeah,
companies in their area with trade show help, right? Or sales help in the trade shows. Like almost like a booth babe but more professional.
right,
Um
yeah,
and sometimes like these big companies depend on like other big companies to help them and then they get charged a fortune and they don't see their ROI. So we really want to franchise that part of the business so that other people can have the opportunity to build their own business as well with that process, right? So we would create a process and a system on how to franchise that. So that's one goal that I have in the near future. And then another goal that we have is to grow into a really like to have like a big building where we can offer all of our services to people and they can come and work. Like basically like especially in corporate America, like everything is done through email and phone and yeah, great. We have
yeah,
meetings and stuff like that, but we want to have like a big center where people can see like how their trade show is going to look. Where we have coffee and we have like, people there on the spot helping them with marketing or, if they have any questions, maybe they don't want to go, they don't want to sit on a call. They want to come in person and, have tea and, really understand how their project is going to go and, really sit down and we can
yeah.
an events.
So then is that also so almost like a walkthrough where they can kind of come and see like different staging areas or kind of be able to look at like a as if think of it as like a wedding
Like a
like when you kind of go
showroom.
in. Yes, yeah, I was gonna say almost like a wedding kind of showroom-ish kind of vibe is what I was kind of getting from that,
Yeah,
where kind
exactly.
of yeah, that would be phenomenal.
Hmm.
um
Yeah, because
with
a lot of these people are like always in a bind and they're like, we don't know what to do. We don't know what it looks like. Like, what is it going to look like? And then we can show them on the spot, like, oh, you want a banner printed right now? Okay, we'll print out a banner for you for your show. Here you go. Let's help you. Let's help you get to that next level, and not having to deal with like wait times and, all that.
Right.
Hmm.
Yeah, because if you schedule them for that meeting, they could come in, greet them with like, coffee, champagne, whatever, and just kind of have them walk through and say, hey, this is what we've already kind of built and put together. Let's kind of sit down over the next 2, 3 days and tweak everything to your liking and kind
Yeah,
of just be a in-house boutique for them to kind of shop and grow whatever it is their idea is. That's
exactly.
kind of that is definitely unique. I don't think I've ever. I'm trying to think in any of the kind of corporations or any of the other businesses or models that I've ever like been a part of. I've definitely not seen anything like that. I think that now, how much traffic do you think you're going to actually be able to pull from that? Like, so I mean, if you have people from like Europe, Dubai, stuff like that, they're going to obviously have to travel from there, be hosted in Texas, which you kind of already seem to have that. You said you have Airbnbs, you have all the local like travel niche and everything like that. Is that something you think they're going to actually travel for to be able to see the event space and stuff like that as like a full walkthrough?
Yeah, so we want to do something where people can come like marketers, any kind of marketers, people in corporate that is in charge of hospitality, like the
Yeah,
people, right? um, you know, we want them to come and feel like I can come here and talk to you about what I need instead of always just communicating through email, right? And we would host monthly networking events where we can have marketers and have workshops and, how to build better booths, how to train your people better at the booths,
Yeah, there you
how to
go.
create a better corporate event, like, choose your, we'll have different sections, like,
Yeah, like a
we can have
workshop type.
like a workshop. We can have an executive concierge travel section. We can have,
Yep.
a floral section because flowers are very important when it comes to events. Flowers and plants are very important. Flower design, plant design,
Yeah,
graphic
catering,
design,
everything.
catering,
Yeah.
we don't do the catering ourselves. We have vendors that do it for us,
Yeah, but you
but
outsource it though.
we outsource it, right? And we plan it
Yeah.
and we plan around the demographics of the people because that is something very important because we have a lot of clients that have a lot of Indian or Pakistani employees and they're
Yeah, that's exactly
vegetarian.
what I was. Yeah. Yep.
They don't want to eat red meat or chicken, so we have to cater to them with lentils and, these very delicious creative foods that may
Yeah.
seem very bland, but we can make them delicious, right?
Right, but that's a
Um,
culture to them now.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what's perfect. So now, when you were saying to expand to being I guess where you want to be able to do a franchise kind of idea, do you know what that kind of looks like, or are you looking to do it as like coaching steps? Are you looking to be able to like a buy in and you help and assist them? How
Hmm.
is that kind of? Have you been able to divulge
Yeah.
into what that's going to look
So
like?
I listen to a podcast a lot. I don't know if you've heard of Jenna Kutcher or Amy Porterfield.
Yeah,
So Amy Porterfield is kind of like the queen of courses, of online courses, right?
correct.
So I
Yep,
would love to create a course where, either men or women can learn how to do this. Like let's say, you have a lot of people that maybe are retired and they're looking for something to do and make money, right? Because they're living off retirement. Or you have like
yeah,
that teacher in the summer that's not working and she's like, what do I do in the summer? I want to have an extra job.
yep,
A lot of these teachers back in the day, they used to sell makeup like Mary Kay and Avon and you had a
yep,
lot of those just looking for side hustles because they don't make a lot of money. They make mediocre money teaching. Unfortunately, that's just how our system is, but they should be making more, but they just don't make a lot of money because it's just not a like a super 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 paid job, but it still pays well to live well, but they still want more and they're bored in the summer. Like for example, my best
yeah,
friend, she's a teacher and she's like, girl, she's worked with me in the summer because she's like, I want to make extra cash. And she was the one that told me, oh my God, you should offer this as like a course for like teachers or moms or because it's a per project
yeah,
basis. You're not working for a
yeah.
full-time company. So I want to be able to teach those ladies or men how to do this part-time and then they can have like their little truck or their like all their stuff together. Like I mean there's a process for doing trade shows, but it's not brain surgery. It's actually quite simple if you just follow the steps.
Correct. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Actually, so one of the biggest things that me and my company do, seeing that we are an AI based company, is we actually have a multi niche platform, and one of them is actually creating all the course lesson outlines and everything, and getting that out. I would, I mean, if that's something that you guys are ever looking to do, I would my company I would love to be able to collaborate and do
Oh
stuff like
yeah. Yeah, well, I mean,
that.
I would love to talk and see what you guys do because that is something that's in the near future that we want
Yeah,
to do. Um, Especially after we trademark one of our services. Um, and yeah, we are looking to do that. So we definitely need to talk.
yeah, no, 100%. So what I'm going to do is after like post um podcast is I will be sending you an email. That way, we're going to be asking for a lot of your because we're going to give you time here to also kind of shout out your company, all your LinkedIn information, your email, and everything like that. So people that are watching this can also this is great branding awareness and stuff for you and your company. But I'll put in there when we share our contact information because that's definitely one of the procurement things that my company does. Right now, we're actually working with a company in Ohio they're called Pallet Moms, and we are
Oh,
rebuilding. So we are rebuilding and restructuring their entire CRM, how they're doing all of their scanning and product and everything from their warehouse to online to their in-store and everything.
I
So
love it.
so we do quite a bit. And so we kind of find other companies to work with, and that project sounds right within our wheelhouse. So.
Well, we definitely have to talk. So I would love that. That would be amazing.
So wrapping up one of the questions that I kind of have here. So, we kind of just talked about like the future and the sustainment of your company is how do you, as an entrepreneur, balance personal life with your company? Being able to, how hard is it for you to kind of pull yourself away that says, all right, I'm done working for today? Because you seem to be a very like an extremely motivated go-getter. And your energy, your vibe, and everything kind of just screams where it's just like, I'm not done yet. I have more. Let me just do 5 more emails. So
Yeah,
how do
yeah.
you structure? I love that. I love that vibe and that energy. That I'm very much the same. So how do you figure out I've done enough today? Where do you find that cutoff point? So that you don't wear
Oh,
out yourself, and you kind of keep that rejuvenating life about yourself.
yeah, that's a really valid question. And I think that's a question
I
that
have a hard time with it myself, so
yeah, that all entrepreneurs, like, for example, like, um, you just learn to have a default calendar, right? So, for example, like non-negotiables for me.
yeah,
I don't take any meetings before 9:30.
yep,
Absolutely not. That's a non-negotiable because it's very important for me to get sleep. And if I don't get sleep, then I'm not going to help you. Like, you need to help me help you. Don't schedule meetings
yeah,
at 7 a.m., 8 a.m., 9 a.m. No, I'm not. I won't even do 9:30. I mean, all of my meetings are after 9:30. That's number one. Non-negotiable. I'm just no.
yep,
Um, I only attend one event a week, like happy hour, you know, you get all these invites. Oh my God, we have a social, we have this, we have I'm like, I
yeah,
don't drink during the week anymore. Um, because as I'm getting older, my body just doesn't tolerate alcohol like before. And I just don't want to put alcohol in my body every day. Like, I'm not gonna do that. No, I'm
Oh,
sorry.
come on. At 26 years old,
Yeah.
you should be fine.
You're so sweet. I'm like, no, like, I'm like one event a week or max maybe 3 a month. Like, I'll just say, okay, which ones are going to be my target audience? Which
Yeah,
ones are worth my time? Because time is money, your time is your most precious currency, right? So you
yeah,
need to treat your time very wisely. And I always say, like, I would rather go walk my dogs and watch the sunset than go be at a networking event where I'm not really gonna, not that I don't want to meet people. I'm not trying to be like prejudiced, but I'm just
yeah.
like, I just want to spend time
What?
with my dogs. I want to
Yes.
spend time with my spouse or maybe my mom or talk on the phone with my aunt or, just that's
Yeah,
important to me, right? Like putting your family also first, right? So for me, it's like my house needs to be clean, my bed needs to be made, I need to have a workout in at least.
yeah,
I need to have at least a 5 days a week workout schedule because I know for me working out is really good for my mental health. So for
yep,
me, I'm like, if this project is going to interfere with my gym and my personal time with my family, then I'm just going to say no to it. Right. Now, it also depends on the money, right? I'm just going to be like, okay, well, this is very important. It's going to help my company grow. So yes, I'll take on the project, but I'm going to have to hire people to help
Yeah,
me,
we're
right?
just
Because
gonna embrace the suck during this,
yeah.
yeah, this time frame.
So what I
Yep.
would say is like, okay, let me delegate. How do you find work-life balance? Well, you learn how to delegate tasks.
Yeah.
So if I hire this person at 25, 35, 45 an hour, or I tell them, okay, for this event, I'm going to pay you $2,500, but I need you to do all this so that I can have time for the
Yeah.
gym, for my dogs, for my husband. And I am willing to sacrifice a portion of that project because for me, a workout is so much better than going to a happy hour.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. It's a lot of the mental wellness and rejuvenation where it's
Hmm.
just like if you don't have time for you, um, eh, there's also a huge study that the amount of stress and stuff creates the level of cortisol and stuff within your body, which
Hmm.
kind of starts shutting down your focus, your way of being able to even just stay coherent through conversations, being able to recall information, your body's overall just, I guess, structure and flexibility. Like
Hmm.
that's the thing. If you don't have a way to be able to digress, then you are doing nothing but stress. And that's what a lot of um, entrepreneurs and stuff are kind of, I guess, picking up on is they're like, hey, I want to be able to create and break free from the 9 to 5. Okay, well that's great, but now you're also starting to realize that you're breaking free from the 9 to 5, but now you just created a whole nother, wheelhouse and cage that you're running in the mouse wheel and you don't know how to slow down and
Right. Right.
moment for yourself where it's just like, okay, where is that time out for you? And
Yeah.
this hustle bustle kind of, you know, I guess day and age, is where do we create those hard limits
Oh
and stuff.
yeah. And you just have to learn how to stop. Like for example, like right now it's 5:12, but
Yeah.
I'm like, you know what? The sun is still out. I'm going to go walk my dogs, listen to my podcast or call my mom, and then I'll come back. I'll have a kombucha and I'll finish my last three emails that I didn't get to today,
Yep.
right? And I always tell people, I'm like, okay, but did you die though?
Yeah.
Like, did it hurt you though? Did you lose like money in the stock market today because we didn't turn in something today? Like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, it's not that big of a deal. Like,
Correct.
things can always be done and worked around. I think
Yep.
sometimes people think too much and they overthink and then they don't get anything done because they
Oh yeah.
overthink it. They want everything to be perfect. And it's like, it's not always about perfection. It's about the energy that you bring into the table, that you bring it
Oh
to the
yeah.
room. Like with these events, I work really well under high pressure environments, right? I've learned that. And you probably do too because you're military. So you're like, man, I need to learn how to act. So for me, it's like,
Got it.
how do we solve this problem now? So I've had a lot of that's why I'm really good at events because in corporate events and all these last minute like travel things because it's like, okay, we're going to find a plan. It takes a lot of common sense and street smart, like mentality to be like, okay, we're going to fix this. Talk to the bellman, talk to this. Hey, we need this. Like, what can you do for us? Look, we've got, and it's just, you got to have that grit. If you don't have that grit, you're not going to be good at that. You better go find another job, because
Yeah.
in event planning, trade show planning, travel planning, you got to learn how to talk to people on the phone. You got to learn
Yep.
how to sit on the phone for hours and convince people on the phone. Look, I'm so sorry. I know they will help you. People will help you if they like you. If you already call United Airlines with a bad attitude, they're going to be like,
Oh
bye,
yeah.
Alicia. But if you know how to talk to that person, like, how are you, Betty? Betty, I need your help. Look, I have a client and I really don't want to do this, but can you please help me? What can you do for me, Betty? Thank you. And just say thank you, please, and be nice to them. Even like when I go to these trade shows, I'm like, hey, I need uh, that guy cleaning. He knows somebody that I can, that can have pool. And I'll go up to him and be like, hey, and I'll talk to him in Spanish, like, do you know this person that I need help with this? Do you know? Yeah, yeah. And then they'll connect you. But you just got to learn how to talk to people. You got to learn how to solve problems like on the spot.
Yeah. So a lot of that also seems like you're very well fluent in interpersonal communication, being able to kind of read the vibe, the energy from other people, how they're either dressed, how they carry themselves and whatever, and be like, you know what, I feel like this person can get me where I need to be. And that's the thing, is just being able to even understand how to approach, how to communicate effectively with other people. That is key, especially in your
Mm-hmm.
wheelhouse of what you guys
Mm-hmm.
deal with. Well,
Mm-hmm.
like you had said, time is valuable and it is precious. So I want to thank you so very much for coming on to this podcast and kind of just shedding the light on what you and your company do and how you kind of came up with it and got to the level that you are at. Um, from me and my company, I thank you very much. And I would like to be able to give you the floor to be able to shout out your company, your LinkedIn information, and stuff like that. And then we'll kind of sign off, and I'll be able to hit you up with a follow-up email, so that way we can kind of get your logo and all of your LinkedIn information and stuff, so that way we can put that onto the podcast, and then I'll reach back out when this goes live.
That would be great. That would be great, Steven. Well, thank
So,
you so much. I really appreciate your time. And if you need anything else, just holler.
yeah, absolutely. Please let us know some of your URLs, and it looks like you got email, Instagram, and stuff like that as well.
Yeah.
You want to shout out the links and stuff to that?
Yeah, follow us at Kattya Co on Instagram. We post a lot of what we do with corporate events and trade shows. And then, follow us on LinkedIn. That's our biggest network outreach. And on our website, kattyanco.com, where you can find a list of our services. And anyone can just feel free to reach out, even if people just have questions or maybe just have just a question about an event or marketing question or maybe travel, anything like that, let us know.
Yeah. And hey guys, we're gonna be posting all of her links and stuff within the bio of this podcast. Please, I'm on her LinkedIn and her page and stuff right now. She definitely has a huge approach on how she's helping and empowering people and companies and achieving success and stuff like that. So I highly suggest go give her page a look. This is definitely a CEO that has taken a vision and really been able to run with it. So please take her words as a nugget of gold as you're kind of starting up your own entrepreneurships, as you're kind of figuring out what niche and stuff you want to be able to go to. And who knows, maybe we'll be able to collaborate and be able to get your franchise and stuff up and going. I'd love to be able to help
Hey.
you in stuff with that. Definitely would be something we would be interested in helping you out with, Kattya. So I honored and pleasure. Thank you for taking the time out of your busy day and your schedule for us. And we will definitely be in touch.
Thank you, Stephen, and have a great and lovely evening. And thank you again.
Be safe. Be well. Bye now.
Ciao. Bye.
Bye.